The noise from outside stopped Yin just as she was about to get onto her bed. Her brows furrowed. It was already 10 p.m. by the clock on the wall. At this hour, things were usually quiet and peaceful, without any disturbances. Curious, Yin pulled aside the curtain of her bedroom window, which was on the second floor. In front of the house that had been empty for a year, there was a box truck unloading furniture. 2 luxurious black cars were parked in the driveway. That house was right next to Yin's. The previous owner had moved away to work out of town and eventually decided to sell it. It seemed the house had finally been sold. Are they the new neighbors? Yin muttered. A married couple stepped out of one of the cars, and a young man exited the other. They talked for a moment before instructing 3 men from the box truck to start moving boxes inside. Yin suddenly remembered her mom telling her yesterday that they'd soon be getting new neighbors. They're your dad's friends and mine too, from college. You probably don't remember them since we lost touch after their son was born. They used to live in Bizen. Their son is around your age. That was roughly what her mom had told her. Just as Yin was intently observing, she flinched when the young man suddenly looked up, right at her bedroom window. Yin blinked rapidly and quickly shut the curtain, hiding her face. Ugh, how embarrassing, she whined, mortified at getting caught watching. She glanced behind her briefly, then climbed onto her bed. Tomorrow, she would greet them properly. Hopefully, these new neighbors could become her friends. On the other side, the young man smiled faintly. He, Jungkook, kept his gaze fixed on Yin's bedroom window with an unreadable expression. Though it was only for a moment, he had caught a glimpse of the girl peeking at him. Her wide-eyed look when she was caught made him quietly chuckle. She was cute. Jungkook, what are you doing? Come on in. That voice snapped Jungkook out of his thoughts. He jogged lightly and followed after his father. 3 years later, Yin rushed down the stairs. She had spent too long in front of her dressing table and didn't realize it was nearly 8 a.m. Her class would start at 8:30. Her campus wasn't too far from home. It only took about 15 minutes to drive, assuming clear roads. The problem was the long walk from the parking lot to her classroom. Good morning, Dad, Mom. Yin kissed both of her parents on the cheek. Good morning, sweetheart. Morning, princess. Come eat something. Yin shook her head and grabbed a piece of bread, eating it in a rush. I'm almost late, Dad. I'll just eat this, she said, pointing to the remaining piece, then quickly gulped down a glass of milk. Careful not to choke, said Yena, Yin's mother. Yin gave a thumbs up while still drinking. Gyujin, her father, chuckled softly. His daughter was adorable, even at 21 years old. Her pretty, youthful face made it hard for people to believe she was already a 4th-year university student. Yin stepped outside. Her car was already neatly parked. She thanked her father's driver, who always prepared the car for her. Before getting in, she checked her reflection in the side mirror. She felt a bit insecure about her appearance today. It was the first time she wore noticeably thick makeup with bold lipstick. She had learned it from a video. Suddenly, the roar of a motorcycle made her turn. A large black motorcycle stopped right in front of her house. The guy, wearing a full-face helmet, slowly took it off, ran his fingers through his hair, and looked at Yin mischievously. Yin scoffed. It was still early, yet Jungkook already wanted to start trouble. Jungkook smirked. You going to class or a party? He teased loudly, chuckling. Yin glared at him. What's it to you? She snapped, placing her hands on her hips. That makeup isn't really suitable for campus, Jungkook teased again. Because you're too pretty, and I can't stand the thought of other guys seeing you, he added silently to himself. Yin scoffed, suddenly losing her confidence. None of your business, she said sharply, then got into her car, not wanting to deal with Jungkook any longer. Even though she acted indifferent, Jungkook's words actually got to her. Yin wiped off the lipstick and replaced it with a softer shade like she usually wore. Damn you, Jungkook, she muttered softly. Watching Yin get into her car, Jungkook smiled slightly. That was enough. He had teased his favorite girl for this morning. He put his helmet back on and sped off on his motorcycle just before Yin's car began to move. Ever since they became neighbors 3 years ago, Yin and Jungkook had never really gotten along. Jungkook always found a way to annoy her with his antics. Yin had no idea why he looked so satisfied every time he teased her. When they first met, Jungkook had seemed nice and friendly. But over time, he became increasingly annoying in her eyes. Worse, they even attended the same university, in the same major. So not only were they neighbors, but also classmates. There was rarely a day without Yin yelling or scolding him. Meanwhile, Jungkook never seemed to tire of teasing her. Their friends had gotten used to seeing Yin pouting because of him. Strangely, Jungkook acted cold and aloof toward other girls, but he was totally different when it came to Yin. The atmosphere in the cafeteria on the 4th floor was dominated by 4th-year students who rarely attended lectures anymore. Most of them were focused on their final projects. It was no surprise that every table had books, laptops, and deep discussions taking place, all in the name of graduation. Yin was sitting with Mina, her close friend since the start of college. Yin herself was a beautiful student with many admirers, but up until now, she had never dated anyone. More accurately, no one had ever managed to truly capture her heart, except for one person. Unfortunately, that person happened to be the same one who always made her campus life chaotic. Yin kept her feelings hidden, especially because she wasn't sure if he felt the same way. I finally met with Professor Eugene yesterday. My thesis title got approved, Mina said happily. Wow, congrats then, Yin replied. I'm so happy that my best friend won't be stressed out anymore, she chuckled. Mina nodded, picking up some fries from the table and eating them. What about you? She asked cautiously. Hearing Mina's question, Yin pouted. I have to find a new title, she answered glumly. 2 weeks ago, Yin had submitted her thesis topic to her advisor. It was approved, and she had already started researching and writing. But 4 days ago, her professor suddenly asked her to change it. He said the topic was too easy for someone as smart as Yin. He wanted her to challenge herself and create a thesis that addressed current technology and issues. Yin had even cried after leaving the consultation room. She was furious, but had no choice but to follow his request. They were in the Faculty of Economics and Business. Mina chuckled, gently patting Yin's shoulder. You'll be fine. You're Professor Liu's favorite student. He's only challenging you because he believes in you, she said, encouraging her. Come on, smile. Don't pout like this. Yin sighed. Her pretty, baby face looks often made her the center of attention wherever she went. You're right. There's no use crying like I did that day, she said with a sheepish grin, embarrassed by her own tears. Mina laughed, half sympathetic and half amused at the memory of her friend's puffy, tear-streaked face. Suddenly, Yin squealed as she felt a gentle tug on her hair. She turned around, eyes wide. Jungkook, give it back, she shouted, trying to snatch back her hair clip that Jungkook had taken. Jungkook laughed. You look ugly with your hair tied up like that, he teased, making Yin's face flush. She knew he was joking, but it was still annoying. But in Jungkook's heart, the real reason was, I don't want other guys staring at your slender neck. Of course, he didn't say that out loud. It's none of your business. Give it back, Yin snapped. Come and get it, if you can, Jungkook challenged after slipping her clip into his pants pocket. Yin growled in frustration. How was she supposed to get it like that? Whatever, just wear it yourself. I'm sure you'd look pretty with that clip, she snapped sarcastically before turning back around. Jungkook chuckled casually, walking toward another table where his guy friends were gathered. His playful smile faded as he noticed some girls quietly watching him. It wasn't that Jungkook was arrogant, but his charm had already broken many hearts. He wasn't interested in any of them, only in one girl, who at that moment was grumbling because of him. Mina giggled. Scenes like this were nothing new, but they were still funny to her. You two look so perfect together, she teased. Yin glared. Perfect enemies, you mean, she retorted. Mina laughed harder, making Yin even more annoyed. It's like he can't function properly unless he makes me angry at least once a day, Yin muttered, stealing a glance at Jungkook, who had now joined his friends. Their eyes met. Jungkook smirked, and Yin glared before turning back to Mina. But I bet your campus life is a lot more fun and colorful, thanks to Jungkook, right? Mina teased again. Yin rolled her eyes. Yeah, so fun, so colorful, so it makes my eyes hurt, she replied sarcastically. Jaehyun shook his head as Jungkook sat beside him. Don't you ever get tired of messing with her? Oh, come on, you know Jungkook, said Minju. Teasing her is like an addiction for this guy, he added, pointing at Jungkook, who only chuckled and didn't reply. Why don't you just start dating already? I'm tired of hearing Yin scream because of you, Yoonwoo chimed in. Although to be honest, Yin still looks pretty even when she's mad, he added with a chuckle. That made Jungkook snap his head toward Yoonwoo with a sharp look. Yoonwoo laughed nervously, raising both hands. Okay, chill boss, he said through laughter. Anyway, you should stop provoking her and actually do something. If you like her, tell her. Yin's different. I need a different approach, Jungkook replied with a faint smile. Minju, Yoonwoo, and Jaehyun shook their heads. It was no longer a secret among them that Jungkook had feelings for Yin, even though Jungkook never said it out loud. As fellow men, they understood the meaning behind the way Jungkook looked at Yin. We're already in our final year. If you don't make a move now, someone else might win her heart. After graduation, you might not even see her as often. Jaehyun's right. You still have 1 year. Try getting closer to her for real. Who knows, maybe she likes you too, Minju agreed. In case you forgot, we're neighbors, Jungkook replied coolly. Yoonwoo clicked his tongue. Being neighbors doesn't guarantee you'll win her over, he warned seriously. You okay with the idea of Yin ending up with another guy someday? Jungkook stayed quiet. He had thought about that. Don't waste time, Jungkook. Yin's really beautiful. You know tons of guys want to date her. Even I. Yoonwoo started to joke again but was immediately silenced by Jungkook's deadly glare. Yoonwoo winced. Jungkook was terrifying when jealous. I was just joking, he said quickly, clearing his throat. Minju and Jaehyun laughed quietly at the sight of Yoonwoo getting flustered. Bottom line is, do something before it's too late, Jungkook. Jungkook remained silent. He wasn't a coward. He was just waiting for the right moment. He didn't want rejection. That's why he needed time. It's better to plan a smart strategy than to fail. This Sunday morning, Jungkook took the opportunity to jog around his housing complex. 3 laps were enough to make the handsome young man break a sweat. He sat for a moment on his porch, drinking from a bottle of mineral water until it was empty. His eyes remained fixed on the second-floor window of the house next door, its curtains still drawn. Is she not awake yet? He wondered silently. Jungkook, the voice of the woman he loved so much made him turn around. Yes, Mom, he replied with a wide smile. Lily, Jungkook's mother, still beautiful in her late 40s, approached him. Go take a shower. I've made some cake. Later, can you bring it to Auntie Yena's house? Hearing the name of Yin's mother, Jungkook stood up immediately. Yes, Mom, he responded enthusiastically. Lily chuckled. You're very eager, she teased. She laughed even more when she saw Jungkook's face turn red. Lily knew her only son well, including the fact that he was in love. Scratching the back of his neck awkwardly, Jungkook said, I'll take a shower now, Mom. Just leave the cake on the table. I'll bring it to Auntie Yena's house, then quickly left before he could do anything embarrassing. Jungkook stood at the front door. He had been to Yin's house several times for dinner invitations. Of course, in front of the parents, Jungkook and Yin behaved normally and politely. He stood upright as the door opened. Jungkook, what brings you here? Yena asked as she opened the door, clearly pleased to see him standing there. Oh, this is from my mom. She made some cake, Jungkook said calmly. He noticed that Yena seemed dressed up to go out. Are you heading somewhere, Andy? Yena blinked before her husband walked up behind her. Oh, Jungkook, why don't you come in? Jungkook suddenly felt awkward. He didn't know why, but he was nervous. No need, uncle. I'm just delivering some cake from my mom. Wow, thank you. Please thank Lily for us, Yena replied cheerfully. Glancing at her watch, she added, Jungkook, sorry we're rushing out. We've got a company party to attend. Just leave the cake on the kitchen table, okay? Sure, Andy. As Jungkook stepped inside, his steps halted when Yena called out. Jungkook, could you please wake Yin up? It's already late. She shouldn't skip breakfast. I was in a rush and didn't get a chance to wake her up. Please ask her to eat something. Before Jungkook could respond, Yena and Eugene were already out the door. Jungkook let out a slow sigh and continued walking toward the kitchen. He was familiar with Yin's house, but waking her up felt a little too personal. Still, it was a request from her parents. Yin wasn't supposed to skip meals. She had a history of gastric problems. The issue was that she often overslept on Sundays. Jungkook knew that well. He was also genuinely concerned about her getting sick from skipping meals. So, steeling himself, Jungkook climbed the stairs to the second floor and stopped in front of a door labeled Yin's room. Jungkook stood frozen, unsure whether to knock again or just go in. He had knocked several times, but there was still no response. So he reached for the door handle and gave it a push. With a single push, the door opened. He was quite surprised. It wasn't locked. So careless, Jungkook muttered. Yin's bedroom was quite spacious, similar in size to his own. The scent of vanilla filled Jungkook's nose. He felt nervous. This was his first time entering a girl's room, aside from his family's. But Yin wasn't inside. The bed was already neatly made. Did she already wake up? Jungkook asked himself again. His attention, previously focused on observing the room, shifted the moment the bathroom door opened. Jungkook froze in place. His eyes didn't blink as Yin stepped out of the bathroom, wearing nothing but a towel wrapped around her bare body. Her neck and shoulders were exposed. Even the upper part of her chest, smooth and fair, was visible. Yin's long legs and soft thighs made it hard for Jungkook to breathe. Her wet hair, still dripping, made her look incredibly sexy and tempting. Yin hadn't noticed anyone was in her bedroom yet. She was still looking down, tightening the towel around her body. But the moment she looked up, her eyes widened in shock. She was stunned to see Jungkook standing there. Jungkook. The shock caused her hands, still adjusting the towel, to slip. Yin yelped as she stumbled while trying to step back into the bathroom. In that chaotic moment, the towel wrapped around her slipped off and fell helplessly to the floor. Her bare body was now fully exposed to Jungkook. Just as shocked as Yin, Jungkook was stunned too. He wanted to close his eyes, but his damned eyes kept staring intently at Yin. Yin tried to get up, but her ankle twisted. She cried out in pain. "I'm sorry, Yin." Jungkook turned to leave. But the sound of Yin groaning in pain stopped him. He hesitated. It felt incredibly inappropriate to stay in the room after seeing something he wasn't supposed to. But on the other hand, seeing Yin clearly in pain and struggling to stand made his heart ache. Yin's whimper made Jungkook worried. To hell with how messed up the situation was, Jungkook quickly walked over to her. In a panic, Yin immediately grabbed the towel and covered the front of her body haphazardly without wrapping it properly. Jungkook came closer, crouched down, and lifted her in a bridal style carry before gently placing her on the bed. He fought hard to push aside the desires that were threatening to take over his sanity. Yin didn't resist. She was overwhelmed with embarrassment, but the pain was too much. She couldn't bear it. She had always been sensitive to pain. Once she was seated, Jungkook quickly grabbed a duvet and draped it over her. "Cover yourself," he said, his face beet red. Yin quickly adjusted the duvet to cover herself properly, down to her knees. Her head hung low in embarrassment. "Damn it, I wish I could just disappear," she cursed silently. The situation was unbearably awkward. Both Yin and Jungkook were trying to steady their racing hearts. Yin sat on the edge of the bed, while Jungkook stood in front of her. "I'm sorry, it was an accident." Jungkook cleared his throat and spoke quietly. Yin nodded. "It's okay," still too speechless to say more. Jungkook glanced at her ankle, which was starting to swell. "Wait a moment," he said before disappearing out the door. Once he was gone, Yin buried her face in her hands. She let out a small whimper. This was beyond embarrassing. "You idiot, Yin. Where are you supposed to hide your face now? How could you end up in front of him?" She scolded herself under her breath. Jungkook returned with a basin of warm water and a small towel. Without saying anything, he crouched down in front of Yin's foot. Carefully, he began to compress the swollen area and gently massaged it from time to time. "Does it hurt?" Jungkook asked, glancing up. Their eyes met, as Yin had been silently watching him the whole time. Yin nodded. "It hurts," she admitted honestly. "Hang in there. Once I'm done, the pain should ease a little. You should tell your parents to take you to the hospital." "Okay." Silence fell between them again. Jungkook continued tending to Yin's foot. No matter what, she was hurt partly because of him. Honestly, Jungkook felt guilty. "Why were you in my bedroom?" Yin finally asked after quiet minutes. Jungkook looked up again. "I came to deliver the cake my mom made," he said. "Then your mom asked me to wake you up. You haven't eaten yet. Worried your gastritis might act up." Jungkook paused for a moment. "Where's the maid?" Jungkook asked. "I was going to ask your parents earlier, but they left in a hurry." Yin glanced at the clock on her wall. She usually goes grocery shopping around this time. She should be back soon. Jungkook nodded, then resumed compressing her foot. "Sorry if I barged in earlier, but I knocked and got no response. So I came in. I was pretty surprised your bedroom door wasn't locked." Yin nodded in understanding. "I'm not used to locking it." "Start locking it from now on when you sleep," Jungkook warned. "It's dangerous if someone other than your family suddenly comes into your bedroom when you're not prepared like earlier." His words made both Yin and Jungkook blush. The air between them turned even more awkward and full of embarrassment. Jungkook cleared his throat and looked back at her foot. "I think your foot's a bit better now. I'll get you something to eat." "Jungkook, it's okay," Yin said quickly. "I can go down and eat later." "With your foot like that?" Jungkook glanced at her ankle. It might be a little better, but he could tell she would still have trouble walking. Yin pouted. She couldn't argue. Her foot still hurt. Jungkook chuckled softly. Yin looked so cute when she was being obedient like this. Put your clothes on properly. I'll bring you your food. I'll stay with you until the maid gets back. Yin's face turned red again. Luckily, she had already prepared a change of clothes on her bed before taking a shower, so she didn't need to struggle to walk to the walk-in closet. Quietly, Yin smiled. Her heart felt warm. Maybe this was the first time they had spoken without any yelling, but still, she was incredibly embarrassed. After this, she had no idea how she would be able to face him. Since that incident, Yin hadn't had the courage to face Jungkook. She avoided him both on campus and at home. She was deeply embarrassed because Jungkook had seen her bare body. Jungkook, on the other hand, realized that Yin was avoiding him. He had tried to approach her to properly apologize again and ask her not to feel ashamed in front of him anymore. But Jungkook couldn't deny it. Yin's bare figure haunted him, often leaving him frustrated and making him feel like a terrible guy. Today, both Jungkook and Yin's parents had business out of town. They were attending the wedding of the child of their college friend. All four of them went together and planned to spend one night at a hotel before returning the next day. Yin was at her house with the maid, while Jungkook was alone at his home because the maid who worked there was on a one-week leave to visit her hometown. Since that afternoon, Jungkook had started to feel unwell. Maybe it was because he'd been pushing himself too hard lately to work on his thesis, staying up late too often. Add to that the stress of Yin still avoiding him, it wore him out. Jungkook had come down with a fever. Jungkook curled up in bed with a thick blanket covering his body. He let out a frustrated sigh. At times like this, he needed his mother. Jungkook could become quite clingy when he was sick, but now, his mother wasn't home. The sound of his phone ringing made Jungkook open his eyes. Groping around the side of his bed, he swiped the green button to answer. Hello, Jungkook? That soft voice made Jungkook smile. Just hearing his mother's voice made him feel a little better. Hi mom, what's up? How's the event going? His raspy, weak voice made Lily frown. The event's not over yet, but everything's going smoothly. Sweetheart, are you okay? Have you eaten yet? Lily asked, suddenly worried. Jungkook chuckled. His mother was always so sensitive to his tone. I haven't eaten yet, Mom. I've had a fever since this afternoon, he whined like a child. On the other end, Lily immediately grew anxious, especially since the maid was away and Jungkook was all alone at home. Oh my god, sweetheart. How did you get a fever? Have you taken any medicine? Then realizing how silly the question was, she muttered to herself, making Jungkook chuckle again. You need to eat before taking medicine. Yeah, I'll get up and make something once I feel a little better, Mom, Jungkook replied. No, you're sick, Lily paused, thinking. Jungkook, I'll ask Auntie Yana to call Yin. She can bring you some food. How does that sound? Hearing his mother's suggestion, Jungkook's eyes immediately lit up. This was his chance to finally talk to Yin. Okay, Mom, please ask Yin to come over. I'm really hungry and I need to take my meds to feel better, he said, trying to sound as weak as possible. Lily chuckled. As soon as I mention Yin's name, you're suddenly eager for her to come over, she teased. Mom, I'm seriously sick, Jungkook whined again. Lily laughed and gave him a few more reminders before ending the call. Meanwhile, Jungkook remained still, his smile widening at the thought of seeing Yin soon. He pulled the blanket back up over himself. He had to look seriously sick. He wanted Yin to worry about him. On the other side, Yin, who was asked by Yena to bring food and take care of Jungkook, felt conflicted. She was still embarrassed to face him, but she was also worried about Jungkook, knowing that he was home alone. To hell with embarrassment. I have to go to his house. Yin quickly fixed her slightly messy hair and clothes. She checked her appearance one more time in the mirror before heading downstairs to look for food. I could be blamed if anything happens to him, Yin muttered dramatically. And now here she was, standing in front of Jungkook's bedroom door. Auntie Lily had said the front door wasn't locked. Jungkook hadn't had the chance to lock it. Fortunately, their housing complex was quite secure. Not just anyone could enter the area. Yin was nervous. She hesitated for a moment, but it was too late to turn back. She was already here. After taking several deep breaths, Yin finally stepped into Jungkook's room. Jungkook's room was dimly lit. Only the night lamp was on. His familiar masculine scent greeted her senses. Yin's eyes sparkled as she looked at Jungkook, curled up on the bed under a thick blanket. She walked slowly and placed the tray on the nightstand. I'll turn on the light, okay? She said softly. Without waiting for his response, Yin turned on the light. Now she could clearly see the room, simple and elegant. Jungkook, who had been pretending to be asleep, slowly opened his eyes. He fought back a smile when he saw her. You came? He asked weakly. He had to act like he was terribly sick. Yin couldn't suspect that it was just a mild fever. Typical Jungkook, such a sneaky guy. Yin nodded. Your mom asked me to check on you. She said you haven't eaten and can't take your meds yet. Yin replied awkwardly, but she gathered her courage and sat down on the edge of his bed, quite close to Jungkook, who was still lying down. I've had a fever since this afternoon, Jungkook said, looking at Yin with soft, tired eyes. His face looked pale. He tried to sit up, and Yin instinctively helped him. Thanks, Jungkook mumbled. Now he was leaning against the headboard. Yin smiled awkwardly. How did you get sick? Jungkook shrugged. I don't know. Letting out a quiet sigh, Yin handed him the tray and placed it on his lap. There was a bowl of warm porridge on it. Eat this, then take your medicine so you can recover. Jungkook stared at the porridge, clearly uninterested. He didn't like bland food. I don't want it. It doesn't taste good, he whined. Now Jungkook was starting to act spoiled. Can't you give me something tastier instead? Yin clicked her tongue in annoyance. She glared at him, but to Jungkook, she only looked even cuter. You're sick. Of course. You need to eat porridge. Stop complaining. Jungkook was secretly thrilled by her little scolding, but he couldn't break character. I don't want it. It's bland and gross. You have to eat it, Yin said with a cute glare. She took the tray from his lap and stirred the porridge to cool it down. Then she raised a spoonful to his lips. Yin was determined to feed him herself, irritated and impatient with his childish behavior. Jungkook froze. He hadn't expected Yin to actually feed him. Inside, he was screaming with joy. This was a stroke of luck. Open your mouth. You're eating this porridge whether you like it or not, or I'll really get mad, Yin threatened, but to Jungkook, it was anything but scary. Jungkook held back a smile and slowly opened his mouth, letting her feed him. Yin smiled in satisfaction when he finally started eating. She patiently fed him spoon by spoon, and to her surprise, he actually ate it all quite eagerly. The porridge was gone in no time. I thought you didn't like it, but you ate like you were starving, Yin teased as she placed the empty tray on the nightstand. That's because you were feeding me, Jungkook replied. Yin froze. Her hand, which had been reaching for the medicine, stopped midair after hearing his words. Slowly, she looked at him, and their eyes locked. Both of their hearts pounded uncontrollably. Yin cleared her throat, trying to shake off the awkwardness. Take your medicine, she said, handing him 2 tablets of fever medicine, completely ignoring his earlier comment. Jungkook took them gratefully, swallowing the pills without taking his eyes off her. It made her hot and cold all at once, nervous and flustered all over again. If that's the case, I'll head home now. Just rest. You'll feel better by tomorrow. But before Yin could make her escape, Jungkook grabbed her hand, making her sit back down on the edge of his bed. Yin's eyes widened, especially when Jungkook pulled her closer. Now the distance between them was dangerously small. Jungkook enjoyed watching her eyes dart around nervously in front of him. A small smile formed on his lips. For a moment, Yin was mesmerized by his handsome face and smile, but the warmth of his skin touching hers brought her back to her senses. What is it? Do you need something? Are you in pain? Yin asked with concern. Jungkook nodded. His heart felt warm, knowing she actually cared. I need you here, he replied. Yin blinked, still trying to process what he just said. You've been avoiding me lately. Why? Jungkook asked. Yin bit her bottom lip, nervous. She hadn't expected him to ask that. It's nothing, she lied. Jungkook clicked his tongue in frustration. Be honest, Yin. Your attitude's been bothering me so much that I fell sick over it. I've been restless because you keep avoiding me. Don't you know how much I missed you? He didn't want to hold back anymore. He was going to tell her everything now. His words stunned Yin. Her heart raced, but she didn't want to get her hopes up too quickly. You mean, you miss teasing me? She asked, narrowing her eyes. Jungkook chuckled softly. Well, that too, he said, making Yin pout. But I really missed you, the way a man misses a woman, he added seriously. Why? Yin's voice was barely a whisper from the shock. Because I like you. I love you, Yin. His confession left Yin speechless. She could see in his eyes that he wasn't joking. Her face turned red, and she said nothing. Jungkook, unable to hold back, leaned in and kissed her blushing cheek. Yin's eyes widened again. Jungkook was being bold, but she couldn't get mad at him because she liked it. Jungkook laughed softly again. His precious girl was just too cute. You haven't answered my question yet. Why have you been avoiding me? Yin snapped out of it, blinked, and looked down. Because I was embarrassed. she admitted. Jungkook gently lifted her chin with his fingers so she would look at him again. I was embarrassed because you saw my bare body. I want to run away every time I think about it. I'm sorry, Yin. I didn't mean to. I know, it wasn't your fault. It was my carelessness. I forgot to lock the door. She cut him off. I was just embarrassed because you're the guy I like, she added quietly. I was afraid you'd think badly of me. Jungkook was stunned by her words. He didn't hear that wrong, did he? You like me too, Yin? Yin nodded shyly. Yeah, I like you too, but sometimes I get annoyed because you tease me so much, she pouted. Jungkook laughed joyfully. He was over the moon knowing his love wasn't one-sided. Despite still feeling weak, he pulled Yin into a warm hug. The heat of his body enveloped her, and she melted into his arms, hugging him back. I'm sorry, baby. I only did all that to get your attention. I've liked you for a long time, but I didn't know how to show it properly. He gently stroked her hair, occasionally planting soft kisses on her head. I promise, from now on I'll express my love the right way, in the way you want. Yin nodded in his embrace, her heart swelling with happiness. Jungkook pulled away just enough to look into her eyes. Yin, will you be my girlfriend? Her nod brought a wide smile to his handsome face. Jungkook couldn't believe that his illness had led to the very happiness he'd been hoping for. Slowly, Jungkook leaned in. Yin closed her eyes, understanding his intention. She welcomed his lips on hers. The kiss was soft and full of emotion, eventually deepening with passion. Yin responded just as intensely. Jungkook was dangerously good at making her addicted to his kisses. His lips were warm, maybe because he still had a fever, or maybe it was something else. Either way, they were both completely intoxicated by love. After several moments, Jungkook finally pulled away. He smiled at the sight of Yin's swollen, glistening lips. Her flushed face said it all. The kiss had been extraordinary. Stay over tonight, okay? Jungkook asked in a low voice. Stay over? Yin blinked innocently. Yeah, stay and sleep with me. That ambiguous response made Yin suspicious. Jungkook caught on and burst out laughing. His girlfriend was seriously too cute and endearing. Just sleep, baby, nothing more. Yin squinted at him. Really? Yes, he said confidently. Maybe just some cuddles and kisses, and a bit of touching, he added with a mischievous grin. Yeah, Jungkook. Jungkook laughed and pulled her down beside him, wrapping his arms and legs around her petite frame. I'll hold out until we're married, he whispered huskily in her ear, making her shiver. You should appreciate me because I've been resisting ever since I saw you, he teased, nuzzling into her neck. Blush. Yin's face turned red with embarrassment. That Jungkook, seriously.